Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the PCN Podcast. I'm Brazilian. Alongside me, as usual, for now, we got AJ, along with our panel today of Dorsey, Rio, and Will. So, today's sponsor is PCN Spain for winning the tournament, wanting to get some cred on the podcast, and having no one show up when we invited them.
Yeah. Woo!
Starting off, we'll get a quick recap of how the semis went before we move on to the final. Dorsey?
In our first semifinal, we had Spain and Australia. Spain was able to beat Australia 4-1 in the first game, and then, basically just repeated without giving up a goal, 4-0 in the second game. I was playing in the other semifinal. I went back and watched it, and it was 2-1 for most of the game. And then Spain got a third, I think, in around the 80th minute, and then gave up an absolutely just horrendous goal in the 90th minute where they could have easily cleared it and just gotten to the next game and conceded that. And I think that kind of killed Australia's momentum, any that they still had. And it just shows you the power of Spain's attack, that they scored 8 goals on a team that I think had kept 6 clean sheets going into the semifinals.
Yeah, I was watching the Spain-Australia and the Brazil-Morocco game at the same time on my Xbox and on my phone and kind of cycling between the two. The biggest thing I noticed is whenever I looked back at the Spain game, they were just always in possession. They scored such a nice goal against Australia. They just passed it up and back and up and back, just up and down that, like, inside the 18, just back and forth. And then eventually just kick it into an empty net. It was one of the best goals I've seen.
I think in the end, Spain just, once they kind of grew into their team and the ego issue kind of resolved itself.
Okay, I'm going to play some devil's advocate. That ego issue, I talked to a lot of the Spain players leading up to the final area, like, who on their team realistically has big egos that would have made it an issue?
And none of them said anybody?
No, I was talking to some of the players, and they were just saying, like, the egos that exist aren't because they think they're great. They just, like, that's just their attitude. That's not their... They don't get on with each other because of that. Their behavior is different than their ego, I guess. We assume that their ego is all flipped up because they get defensive or try to roast people, yada, yada. But in all reality, like, I saw a few of the players, and they didn't seem to think that there was an ego issue.
Yeah, well, the thing is, ego doesn't always have to be FIFA related. There's people in this league who have egos, and it's not about how, like, it's not that they're really good FIFA players and they think that. It's just, they're just egotistical people. So, for some of us, they thought it was a combination of egotistical FIFA-wise, egotistical elsewhere, and there was a potential it could have brought the team down. It didn't. They worked, they gelled, and I think as the tournament went on, they figured out teams and lineups that worked, and, I guess I'm just more surprised in the end of how poorly Australia played. What was one of the strongest teams in the tournament just completely laid down there in the semis. Moving on, as my friend Brazilian likes to say, to the other semifinal. It was a tough one. Morocco 1-0 against Brazil in the first leg, 2-1 in the second leg. We conceded in around the 80th minute to Morocco in the first game. It hurt. We knew we weren't out of it, but we also knew keeping that clean sheet was going to be important. And then second leg, they got 2 goals. They went up 3-0. We fought back. We got a goal. We really finished kind of strong. Could have scored another one, but getting in a 3-0 deficit to a team like Morocco with that defense, that was just always going to be really, really tough to overcome. Well, how do you think it went? Do you think we did better than you thought? Do you think we had a chance, or?
I'm not sure I would say that we had a chance to begin with. Our attack didn't show a whole lot of teeth throughout the entire tournament. We kind of relied on our defense a lot.
You know what they say, defense wins championships.
It does if you can score goals.
And your goalkeeper is there.
Yeah, so our team captain and goalkeeper wasn't in our starting lineup, so automatically we had to play with a few people out of position. And that kind of just hurt any type of chemistry that we had in the first place, which wasn't great. I mean, we had a good showing. I think we went further than people expected us to go, but we just didn't have enough teeth up front, I believe. But it wasn't a terrible performance from us, and Morocco are a really, really good team. And them scoring so late on just almost kind of just shut the door for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the first game we honestly played them about even. I mean, about dead even. We had chances. We could have scored. It was really even. They got the late goal. We knew we were still in it. But the second game, they did outplay us, especially that first half of the second game. They kind of just knocked us down, and we had some fight in the second half, but it was a little bit too little, too late.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, we reached the final. Spain, Morocco. Pretty much who we thought we would reach the final in the beginning, didn't we? At least for the most part. It's kind of what I expected. What about you?
I expected Spain to make it to the finals from the moment they became Spain, but I had my doubts about Morocco just because we ended up playing them in the round of 16, and I was with Argentina, and they only beat us 1-0 in both of the games, and the offense was really shaky. It wasn't the Juventus of it. I know they had magic, but it just wasn't clicking because they was missing passes, missing easy shots, all that. Their defense held strong, but, compared to a team like the talent-wise with them and our side with Argentina, it should have been worse than what it was. But I don't know, the offense just wasn't clicking. So that's when I had my doubts about Morocco.
Well, in the end, Spain was able to take home the crown, the nice 3-2 win over Morocco. They went up, was it 3-0 early?
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0, and Morocco's been a team built on their defense, so for them to concede, I think they conceded in like the 3rd or 4th minute, and then I think it was 3-0 by like the 25th or 30th. So I think that's just Morocco had not been in a place like that the whole tournament, and the third goal was really unlucky that their goalie just couldn't move. He was kind of stuck, but in the end, their lack of consistent goal scoring is, it was tough for them to be able to score 3 goals and even it up.
So, when I was watching the game, I was under the same impression. Spain got off on the right foot and getting up early. And as the game wore on, when Morocco got their second goal, I honestly thought they might have had a chance to draw it level and push it to extra time. But Spain were already in such a good defensive state by that point. They were already so locked in that the mistakes that led to the goals for Spain were really not big deals in their eyes, I think. So Spain were definitely the team to coast through in the end. I think Morocco, and I was listening, I was watching it on Morocco's stream, so and a lot of their players were trying to keep their cool, but evidently struggling to in a lot of cases. They were getting upset with each other. It started to become kitchen sink play where they would just kind of hurl everything forward in the last few minutes, and I think that's why Spain were able to hold out.
For them, I think it's just like I was just saying, I think it's just they hadn't faced any adversity as a team. And it sometimes is good to face that. I don't think they really struggled in any warm-ups. They won the Confederations Cup. The only game they lost in the group stage was to Spain when they had, I think, less than a full team. So they just hadn't really been in this position. And even if they had, I don't know if they were coming back from 3-0 down. But it was just a really big hole. And they got 2 back, but it was too big in the end.
I think another thing that just did Morocco in for the finals was just the inconsistency with their players. I know they had people going on vacations, but I've heard Dad Job say they had different strike partners every other game day.
And that'll wrap up our Season 8 World Cup. Just want to thank everyone again for taking part. It was definitely a lot of fun for everyone involved. And just going to recap the top stats, people, because that is the term. One last time. Top scores, Stay High and Evo tied atop with 12. Stay High gets the Golden Boot officially because he had more assists, so congrats to him. Lobo from Belgium finishing in 3rd with 11. Top assisters ended up going to Peanut from Spain with 9. Lucid right behind him from Portugal with 8. Top key passers was Ozil and Peanut, 29 and 28, both from Spain, showcasing that dangerous attack. And then the top keepers, DJ Rod from Spain with 57, beating out Free Kicker, who in my notes is DJ Free Kick. With 54. Can we start calling him DJ Free Kick?
Yes.
DJ Free Kick! Freak! So sorry. Okay.
Well, I got
That was bad. That was real bad. Let's just move on.
Alright. We want to celebrate our team of the tournament, which we just announced today. In goal, we had DJ Rod from Spain with his 12 caps, 57 saves, couple clean sheets. Hernandez, 19 from Morocco, tied with the lead for 8 clean sheets. Had an impressive 4 assists, 8 key passes from center back, and as well as 26 interceptions. Quick from Spain held it down, was the key to their defense. In his 9 caps, he was able to get 23 interceptions, couple clean sheets, man of the match. Matthias, 7 from Morocco, 10 caps, 28 interceptions, which was third, 7 clean sheets. Right mid was Peanut, 7 from Spain. Really kind of one of their creative maestros. 9 goals, 9 assists, 28 key passes. Myself in CDM, 11 caps, couple goals, 34 interceptions, 21 defensive tackles, couple clean sheets. Dad job from Morocco in the other CDM spot, 12 caps, 30 interceptions, 16 tackles, 8 clean sheets. Lucid control. Played Cam for Portugal, but we really felt he deserved a spot in the team, so we put him at left mid. 9 caps, 8 assists, 24 key passes, 11 interceptions, 2 man of the match. Really good performance from him. Cam was Aztecas from Spain, our golden ball winner. 9 caps, 10 goals, 7 assists, 23 key passes. Just one of those keys, of course, again, to that Spain attack. Ozil, 11 from Spain, 12 caps, 10 goals, 6 assists, 29 key passes, led everyone. And then Stay High Playa from Portugal, 9 caps, 12 goals, 3 assists. Really helped keep them going as far as they could. So, just shout out to everyone for taking part in the World Cup. And now we're going to move on to some Q&A. Before we get started, just wanted to say that the AJ Out campaign has officially been successful, as AJ's internet has conked on him and he is not available to help us answer these questions. So, you guys got your wish. Before we get into the questions, just want to kind of give you guys a little preview. So there's a few kind of PCN related, serious discussions we're going to have. And then intertwined, we're going to have some lighter discussions, some of which talk about drug use and the female anatomy. And, well, you'll hear it. If you're offended, I apologize, but not really. It's a free podcast. Fuck it. Let's go. Starting off with Panunzi. He asked, why did my dad leave when I was 3?
Oh, so why did your dad leave when you were 3? Well, okay, let's start it off. You were the cause of the arguments. No matter what you think, your dad hit your mom because of you. See, your dad, right, he was drilling your mom, and then one little sperm happened to drip down in, and see, that was you. So that was the first big mistake. So your dad left because of you.
That was rough. We are sorry, Panunzi.
I don't know, what else can I say?
That's all good.
Anyone else have an answer for why his dad left when he was 3?
No.
Nope. You good.
Alright, well, I guess that's all on me then.
Yeah.
So, I'll hit you up with Fencing Guy's question. Why does Stay High smoke more weed than the population of Jamaica?
I think it is because he is in a beautiful part of Canada where they grow the cannabis, and he gets a lot of it. To name yourself Stay High Play, and he said he did this, I remember in his interview, I asked him, why do you Stay High Play? He's I made that name a long time ago. So, clearly he's just a very experienced smoker of the cannabis. He's just doing his part to keep the environment green.
He's an experienced smoker of the cannabis.
Yes.
I mean, if his gamer picture doesn't give it away, I don't know what you want me to say.
Fencing Guy asks, with the huge amount of growth in PCN over the last few seasons, what's your forecast for FIFA 19 and how will you prepare for it and make sure it doesn't grow too fast? And a related question from Vaccine, what was the rationale for expanding to 3 divisions? Teams are already expanded last seasons. Are admins not worried about more teams collapsing or rosters not filling?
Me personally, I don't know. I was a big fan of 12 teams in the top division. I don't know. I thought D1 was already kind of fair and square because there were a lot of teams that while they played through the entirety of the season, they never had full 11s. Some of the bottom teams from each division. I respect Ricky for giving it a go and seeing how it'll work. In my eyes, don't be super surprised if it backfires. That's just my take.
I can see where you're coming from, Lucas. There is a problem at the bottom of Super League where we can't even get players to fill out the entire team or show up for the games or whatever. But I think part of that stems from people not being committed enough on those teams to want to fight through relegation and stuff. I believe those teams really do have 11 players that will show up on game time at the beginning of the season. But once they find out how good or bad their team is, their commitment levels may change, if that makes any sense. So it's hard as admins for them to be able to prepare for the uncertainty of players either showing up or not showing up. And you don't want to stunt the growth of your league by not allowing these people to even like have a chance to sign up in the first place. So it's a balancing act to find, where does the real problem lie in, being too populated to where people won't get a chance to play, or having people not show up for games. And I think that all just depends on commitment levels of the players that sign up for the league. And obviously how good their teams end up being is, the main factor. I would relish a relegation opportunity to fight against relegation. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I mean, obviously losing a lot of games is not great, but I don't know. We all play competitive FIFA to get the competitive aspect of how this all works. And it doesn't change, the competitive aspect of whether you're at the top of the league or the bottom of the league. It's all the same. I mean, look at, professional players. They're the same way. We don't get paid to play this game, and it's all for fun anyway. But the competition on its own should be enough fun, in my opinion. But anyway, he was asking, what's your forecast for FIFA 19 and how to prepare not growing too fast. I think growing is always good, especially for a community like this, because the more people you can get involved, the more opportunities you have to do different types of leagues or tournaments or whatever it may be, and you'll find different commitment levels in those people. And those can always benefit your league in the long run, in my opinion. So I don't think growing too fast is a huge issue for us right now.
I got a couple points. So when you're talking about the relegation battle thing and, maybe we didn't have enough people committed on the team, so I actually decided last season at the midway point to leave Lyon, who was kind of a mid-table team, and I decided to go to Bayern and try to help them in a relegation battle. And it was a really unique challenge. And when I first got there, we were struggling to get 11. We had people playing out of position. We were in the relegation zone. I think we were 18th or 19th. It was a struggle. By the end, we'd pulled ourselves up to 17th. We were consistently having 11. We were having fun. Even though we weren't even winning most of our games, we were drawing and losing. We were still having a good time. You can have a good time on a team at the bottom of the table if you like the people you're around. And a lot of people say, like, the teams at the bottom, they can't field people. Whether you have 20 teams or 10 teams, you're going to have teams at the bottom, and they're going to have to face those struggles. But I think Season 8, we actually had the least manager turnover. We had the least teams playing with less than 11 than we've ever had. At the bottom of Super League, Dortmund was the same team all season. They didn't always have 11, but it was the same team the whole way through. Spurs changed manager between the same two people all season, but it was the same team. They generally had 11. Bayern didn't have 11 always early on, but we did towards the end. AC Milan was the only team in the bottom four that struggled to put a team out consistently. And then in Division 1, only the teams really at the bottom, maybe two, kind of struggled to field teams. Shakhtar and PSV early on did, but they got new managers, and after that, they pretty much had fuller teams.
I feel since I played in League One last season, I can say, like, playing against every team, people that don't play in League One think they're like, mid-table and down teams just don't have full 11s and all that. And most of the teams that we played against this season had a full 11 minus, like you said, the bottom teams. But really, the only team that never had a full 11 was the bottom team in Real Madrid. And everybody else had a consistent 11. So I don't think it's as big of an issue as some people make it out to be.
Yeah. And so that leads into why there's always a chance, but we expanded for Season 4. We went from 10 to 16 teams to Super League. We expanded Season 5. We added a Division 1. We expanded in Season 7. We added 6 teams to Division 1. And there's going to be struggles regardless because you're introducing new teams. There's going to be some growing pains, but we're at 2,500 members. We just hit that mark. We're getting new people every day. It's going to be a new FIFA. There's a lot more people going to come back to FIFA. We're not worried at all about League 2 being a failure. Will there be teams that have to change manager? Yes. Will there be teams that don't field 11 every game day? Sure. But I don't think it's going to be a big issue. And if it is, maybe we won't expand League 2 for a season or two. Maybe we'll hold off on doing something else. But I really, really believe that it is not as big of an issue as some people think it may be.
Hold on. You said 2,500 members?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, dude. I remember when it was like, 400, 500 maybe? Like Season 4?
I mean, Season 4 and 5, yeah, we were maybe 400, 500. And then I think by about Season 6, we were around 1,000. And of course, some people are on the site and don't, they're not on anymore. But I go through the members. It's not like there's 7 duplicate accounts for someone. If there's someone who doesn't have a gamer tag, they get deleted. If there's someone with multiple accounts, they get deleted. If there's someone who hasn't been on in like a year, they get deleted. So it's not 2,500 people are on the site every day, but it shows you how big the community is now. 10 more teams, not worried about it.
So our good friend Frosty hit us with the question of, why are boobs good?
Will, as the resident boob man in the group, do you want to give your opinion?
I guess it just comes down to personal preference, boys. I don't know if I know how to answer it. They're just better. I don't know any other way to put it.
This is a false statement.
False.
Like I said, it's just personal preference.
I'll just give my stance. Rio can agree with me. As a Brazilian, as a Latin, our culture is very, I don't know, we push the idea of butts a lot. So that's what I was growing up like admiring. Like I don't really know the right word for it. That's the one thing that like media would always inflate and pay attention to. In fact, every few weeks we have a Brazilian news subscription here at our house on our TV. So I hear stories about women that are like trying to like do implants and they die because stuff goes wrong. Happens a lot, but because of that, I guess, mainstreamness of booty, that's why I like butts. Such a
like Will was saying, it comes down to preference. It does, but me and Brazilian, booty is more of a thing, preference for us. And for me personally, I grew up playing soccer in real life, so I always hanged around like the girls' teams. Like I had travel teams and all that, so I always hanged around the girls' version of my team.
Facts. I didn't even think about that.
It's just what you notice, so it's just what I grew up with.
Facts. Mad respect.
I also prefer butt over boobs. I'm kind of like 60-40, but boobs are nice. Boobs, they're just fun to. You know what? My mom might listen to this, so I'm gonna say it. But boobs are fun to play with. Like an ass is nice to hang on to, but boobs are fun to play with. Sorry.
Okay, next question.
Well, after that doozy, Rico asked, where is the PCN merch store? And then Rio asked, when am I going to get my graphics store on the forums? So, Rio, to answer yours, I will try to get that up in the next couple days on the forum for you.
Thank you.
And we don't have any specific plans for a PCN merch store, but Brazilian, you have dealt with merch in the past. So, do you have any ideas or thoughts or anything?
Yeah, well, with my incredible amount of experience of making one shirt, and it was for myself. I was put in charge of the PCN merch store. All I've really got is, if you want a shirt, hit me up. We can talk about a price. The reason Evan never got a stupid shirt was because he never sat with me in a party while I made it for him. Because, if I mess one thing up, that's money spent that didn't need to be spent. So yeah, if you want a shirt, just hit me up. If you can find a place cheaper to make them than Spreadshirt, where it's not like $35 for a shirt, then let me know, because that's all I've got right now. But I'd make a shirt. There's just no merch store yet.
So it's something we honestly haven't talked about as admins in a while.
Ricky called me at 8 a.m. about it once. It was really fun.
We're going to look into it. I think it would be cool to have some PCN merch, just a couple t-shirts,
I would rep it.
Mugs, a bumper sticker, just the usual stuff. But if there's
a bumper sticker,
we may put a poll out in the forum asking people to buy stuff. So it could, I don't know if I'm going to say it's going to be there for the fall, but it's something that in the next FIFA I think could happen. So we'll see.
All right, next up, our good friend Snowboarder asked, why does the Easter Bunny carry eggs? Rabbits don't lay eggs.
This is the hardest hitting question that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah? The boobs one wasn't as hard hitting?
No. That was soft hitting. Anybody got a theory? I'm genuinely curious.
Nope, nothing.
Well, I think it's a marketing ploy.
Elaborate.
I don't know. I think eggs are easy to do things with, like paint and put stuff in plastic ones that are see-through and hide. So it's all big business trying to stir the pot.
A quick Google about Easter Bunny and eggs. The theory that the interwebs say is that eggs are a symbol of fertility, meaning a symbol of life, and I guess Easter's about life, so therefore eggs painted with candy inside. It all makes sense. But if anyone really wants to know, I'm pretty sure there's a South Park episode all about Easter, and you should just watch that, and you will know. We're going to have one more kind of serious discussion before we get out of here. Fizzy asks, or he says, big issue I've had in PCN is admins abusing their role of power to favor their team. Will there be more consistency, equality, a more democratic system perhaps? Can there be some sort of union or panel of players that protect the rights of players where they vote on certain decisions? So, since I'm the only admin here, I'm going to kind of just talk to you directly, Fizzy. And anyone else who kind of feels this way. I'm genuinely sorry if you've ever felt like the admins have abused their power, or that they've been favoring their team, or they've been biased against your team. I'm not going to say that I feel 100% that no one has ever had any bias with any decisions from an admin, but I feel we've gotten better each season. I feel next season it's going to be the best team we've had in terms of dealing with these kinds of issues. So, will there be more consistency? We're just going to try to be better with that. We know that's something that there were some issues with last season. And the biggest issue last season, I think, was just with the reschedule rule. And that just didn't work, and so we're getting rid of it. So I think a lot of drama came from that, and it should go away. As far as will there be some sort of union or panel of players, no, there's not going to be. There's not on any other website I'm aware of. There's not going to be a panel where you're going to vote on things. There's a reason the people who are admins, that they're given that responsibility. But we don't shut you down if you have opinions. We have a place in the forum for suggestions. We have an open Discord. You can always message an admin with an issue. We're not going to have an organized anti-admin group, but if you have issues and you have things you're concerned about, like, don't be vague and not talk about it. Like, hit us head on. And if it's fair and it's rationalized and it's well thought out, like, we'll deal with it. If you're just complaining to complain, I'm not saying you are, Fizzy, I'm just saying in general, if you're just complaining to complain, so be it. You can do that. You're free to do that, but it doesn't mean we're going to act on what you're complaining about. If any of you guys just have ever experienced that, like, feel free to tell me and tell us now, or just, whatever, if you guys have any thoughts.
In my experience, I only really relatively noticed this once or twice, and that was when I first joined PCN in Season 4, the good old Real Madrid season. Oh my goodness, don't even get me started on that season. But yeah, I definitely think a lot of the times it's an overreaction. I think a lot of the players oftentimes try to make something out of nothing or something out of very little. And the issue is they don't know enough people in the league or know exactly who to reach out to, so it just becomes this gossip that emerges from the depths of the league that kind of becomes this all-round targeted message against the admins, when in reality, they're just trying to do their job. They don't get paid for it, so why would they try and benefit? I've been subject to bad adminning before. I'm not trying to say that they're without fault, but I think especially this season it was a lot better, partially because it was a lot harder to cope with things like the rescheduling. I remember at the start of the season, that was already a topic of hot debate, and no one ever really got a perfectly clear answer for that. That just kind of became something we had to work with week in, week out, depending on which teams had what availability. And I say we like I'm an admin, but I talk to the admins, obviously. It just became a thing of like, oh, well, if these teams were available to reschedule, then it did. And if not, then like there were certain things that went on. It was never anything set in stone. It's not like they target people.
I've got some things to say. Dorsey, I agree with a lot of what you said. From a player standpoint, the only thing I can try to give as advice is that we need to be vocal, and when we face issues as players, whether it's from an admin or whether it's from someone else in the league, we should all be held to the same standards. And if there's an issue, we should speak up and talk about it. But there's right ways to do that. We can always be respectful and always, try to hone our thoughts in and try to bring it up in the right way. Because that's going to get us way further than it would if someone just spews off at the handle. No one wants to listen to that, whether you're an admin or not an admin. I mean, just think about it from a player's perspective. You wouldn't want an admin to talk to you like that. So try to rationalize, your thoughts and come at them the way you'd want them to come at you if you were to be in the wrong. It can always make things a lot easier and kind of dull down any kind of controversy that we may be facing as a group. And we are all in this together. Let's all just try to work together and try to make the league a better place and treat each other the right way. That'll go a long way.
There's this phrase that I love to use because it just rings true with so many people. Part of it is, ignorance is bliss, but if you meet a dick in the morning, then they were probably the dick. But if you meet dicks the entire day, well, then that's you, pal. As long as, you're self-aware and are aware that you're just being mature, polite and courteous and professional with the admins, then they'll reciprocate that treatment. If you're just, as Dorsey said, spouting off at the handle, then there's not much sympathy for you if you aren't making a legitimate claim.
Ricky didn't start this league. I haven't become head admin. The other admins and editors who help out, we don't do this for our own personal benefit and gain. We're not doing this because we're selfish, because we want power, because we want clout on the internet. Like, anyone who helps out is doing it because they love what PCN is. They wanted to make it better. And so, I don't think some people realize how much work goes into running this. Not saying that it's like an excuse for anything we've ever done wrong, and just saying that it is a lot of work, and we wouldn't do it if we didn't want to do it the best way. And it's like a political organization in a way, in terms of, like, you're never going to agree with 100% of the decisions, and we're never going to be right 100% of the time. So you guys just have to bear with us when we make mistakes, when we maybe don't deal with something as we should, and let us know, and we'll try to get it right the next time. And that's all we can ask, is you guys give us good feedback. We'll do the best we can to make this league as enjoyable, as fair as we can. That's all we can try to do.
And if you really want your league experience to improve significantly, just network. Play with different people from different teams, from different divisions. Just meet the people, because this community is a great community. That's what I love so much about PCN ever since I joined. It's just, the community is great. I know so many people in this league because it's just, all it is play FIFA with people. Play a game that you enjoy. So it's really easy to bond over a game that you enjoy with a bunch of different people. So if you network, you get to know more people, you get more opportunities to be involved in things around the site.
Amen. It's a little light with a special question from Jakub. Brazil, you want to read that one?
And last of all, Jakub, who asked, when will I be switched to Minnesota United? And what cups do I have to play in this season?
So I'm sorry that I have to make this announcement that, unfortunately, Jakub, you will be managing Minnesota United!
Hey!
Nice!
I had to make the wait worth it. Just like your goal of the season badge. Jakub, you will be Minnesota United manager. Congratulations. And what cups do you have to play? You're just going to be in the PCN Cup, which will start, I think, like the second or third week. So everyone look out for Minnesota United in League 2.
Awesome.
But before we're done, I wrote up a couple of questions for everyone here.
Oh, God, really? Okay.
Brazilian, how bad of a goalkeeper must you be to keep trying to play in the outfield?
Oh. Oh. Yo, dude.
They're all roast.
Fuck off.
Rip Brazil's confidence.
Dude, no, you don't understand. I'm a bad keeper, but I'm not trying to move out into the field because I'm that bad. You can't put these in.
Oh, I'm getting you all, and myself.
I dig it.
Oh my God. I don't know how to answer that question.
It's already over.
Yep. Okay. It's fine, Brazil. We're all going to get roasted.
Jeez.
Rio, we haven't heard from you in a while, so people want to know, Why did you snake your whole team and leave Bayer Leverkusen?
Isn't the definition snaking somebody doing it behind their back though? Because I made it a public announcement.
Will, why did you frame Zlatan and get him banned from PCN?
Oh, sweet Jesus!
Sometimes someone just has to step up and be the hero. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
My intention wasn't to get him banned. I just wanted Team of the Season. That's all I wanted.
And then for myself, why am I a power-hungry, abusive asshole?
Admin, not asshole. You're a nice guy, but you're a power-hungry admin. That's all.
Can we answer that question for you, Dorsey?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I think that Dorsey never got any love as a child, and so he had to take that discontent to a group of friends, and together they formed a baseball fan section called the Freeman Seamen and made it on SportsCenter's top 10. From there, I think he just thought that his 15 seconds of fame would never end, and because of that, he's transferred that power-hungry nature over to a league that he actually has no real investment in.
Rip.
Fuck me. Damn.
Doesn't feel so good, does it?
No.
And now, after the 90th minute, after the whistle's been blown, we conclude this week's episode of the PCN Podcast. Thanks for listening.
See you guys next FIFA.